Hello, welcome back to us, Dear Source, your Ascendancy Hotline, where we connect in with Source, God, the universe, divine, and talk about real world issues, the lives that we live here on the 3D, and how do those connect into our spiritual growth and our spiritual path. And to remember that everything is for our highest and greatest good of all. If we can see it through the eyes of love, see it through the lens of Source, and transmute those learnings and lessons into our spiritual awakening. And so I am so blessed and so grateful to be able to channel Source and connect in with you and support you on this journey that we call life. We are being lived by Source, and we are here to transcend and ascend and live in a state of bliss and peace and ease. When we realize how the universe works, how can we overcome our suffering and our pain, which is our ego, and come into perfect balance of being perfectly human and perfectly divine, both in equal harmony. And so I'm excited for today's episode. Today, we're just going to reflect on the energy of gratitude and the holiday of Thanksgiving, which took place yesterday in the United States. But how do we live from a place of perfection, from acceptance, from eternal gratitude of all that we have is divine and perfect, and to come into that energy of complete acceptance? Because I think that's where the magic truly happens on this journey, is how do we come into a state of divine knowingness? That's where, like I said, the magic really happens, because we relax in and know that we are of Source, and everything that is causing us pain or discomfort is just an opportunity for us to look within ourselves and transcend and know that that is not real. It's just a place of realignment that we get to have with ourselves. And I can think of, my own human experiences that I'm having as Erin, that continuously just crack me more and more open. It's like becoming this beautiful flower. We're here to just allow the bud of our rose to gradually open, and to realize that there is nothing working against us. Everything is working for the highest and greatest good of all. And we are here to come into union and the knowingness that we are our souls. And so recently, I've taken a really deep dive into Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and what were they here teaching us, as we walk this earth. Because he was a teacher, she was a teacher, and they were pointing to us lessons in their teachings of how we came here to live, especially Jesus. I'm constantly reminded, I think it's in John 10:30, where it states, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. And to have gratitude for the remembrance of, I am Source, I am one with Source, but Source, God, the universe, is greater than I am. And to allow Source to be the energy, the pure consciousness of which Jesus walked this earth, and the energy that he admitted, we all have access to doing if we allow our ego to die. And that's what he fully realized, was how to transcend the powers of the ego and allow the pure divinity of source to flow through him. And that's what we're all here to realize. And I was listening to something this morning as I get into my routine and meditate and come into alignment to be a vessel for which source can flow through. And it was just this beautiful video of like really the person that we are here to find, that we are looking for, is ourselves. We are here to find ourselves. We are not here to find someone else, something else. We are here to find ourselves. And every person is a mirror back to us of our state of being. And to be the infinite source of love that God put us here to be. Because the only thing that's true and real is love. Anytime that we're not acting from a state of love, that's an indicator that we are not in alignment with source. And those emotions aren't wrong. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. There's just an isness. It's an isness of like, that isn't true. So come back into your state of love and divinity, and to know that the only thing that is true and real is love. And it was just such a beautiful reminder of like, the one we are seeking is seeking us. And I think Rumi said that, or something very close along those lines, but we're truly seeking God within ourselves. And that remembrance that we are so interconnected with the universe. We are one with the universe, and we are here to come into co-creation with source. I remind people all the time that all the desires that we have placed within our heart, and really this becomes very nuanced. What's the will of our soul versus what's the will of our ego? And the will of our soul is divine and pure. Those desires were planted in our cult. They come from the Father. They come from source. That's the original meaning of desire. So the universe, if you're truly in perfect alignment with God's will, with your soul's will, wants to deliver all of those blessings onto you. Those things that you feel and know to be true are meant to come into fruition in this world. But the question that we all have is, can we continuously be witness and the observer of ourselves, and to transcend the ego time and moment after moment again, to allow for that desire to be realized within ourselves? And so, what a beautiful reminder of moment by moment gratitude of why we came in here, what is the work that we're really here to do, and how do we step into that divinity and into that remembrance. And that what we are here to do is very simplistic, yet very complicated, because we're transcending old paradigms, programming of our ego, thousands and thousands and thousands of years of programming, our own programming in this lifetime, societal constructs, to come back into the unification with God Himself, and to take ascended masters such as Jesus and Mary Magdalene and a host of other divine goddesses, gods, beings, to come into the remembrance and the knowingness that we are divine. We are God made manifest in our body. And the only thing we're here to do is to allow the ego to die away in every moment that we know that we are not aligned with source. We're a beautiful sculpture. I'm reminded of Michelangelo. Like, we are a beautiful sculpture, and it already exists in the marble. Our only job is to take the excess away. And it's just another unlayering over and over and over again. And every time we uncover something and allow that to fall away, that reveals another piece of the magnificent statue that each and every soul is. And so I just would invite you all in this time of Thanksgiving. How do we stay in this frequency? How do we stay in this energy and come into a oneness and interconnectedness with who we are and how we're supposed to be? And how do we allow our souls to become the fullest expressions of themselves? And one of the things that I think we're here to do, and I think of even today being Black Friday, like the whole energetics of the day is actually a complete antithesis to yesterday. Of when you think of sales and what goes on in the world, there is this almost perceived lack. Like, I've got to go out and fill up my basket with all these things because I am not grateful for what I have, or what am I gifting people for the holidays? And what if we focused on gifting people love? And what if we focused on gifting people our presence, our undivided attention? When I'm in your energy, am I looking you in the eyes? Am I seeing your soul? Am I listening? Am I truly seeing the divine within you? Or am I multitasking and on our phone and distracted and on social media? All those things are distractions. They're distractions and are taking away from the divinity of who we are. And do we notice that? Like, we fall into such unconscious egoic patterns that we don't even realize what we're doing. So we have this time right now to really go, how grateful am I? What am I grateful for? How do I express that gratitude into the world? And to know that there is nothing lacking. There is nothing lacking. And when you think about how we're even marketed or talked to on all levels, it's not about stepping into the fullest expression of yourself. It's like you're not good enough. Whether you think of the health and wellness industry, it's like, oh, you're not at this exact weight, or you're not look like this, or you're not this. All of the marketing, the beauty industry, lack. And if we think like, oh, if I go buy this rouge, or if I go buy this foundation, that'll make me feel better. That will make me feel like more of myself. And yet it doesn't make me feel more like myself. What makes me feel more like myself is stepping in to the energetic blueprint that my soul came here to express, allowing pure, golden, white, conscious light to pulsate through my body and to admit back into the world. That's what we're here for. We're not here for objects and possessions. We are here for the remembrance of our soul. So today, as you go out shopping and thinking about what are you getting marketed to and how this will fill some piece of you up, but it really, truly won't. It really won't. There is nothing out there that will make you whole and complete, because you already are whole and complete. How do we come into a state of radical self-love? The journey of finding ourselves is falling in love with ourselves again and again and again, over and over and over, loving every single aspect of ourselves, every single a hair on our head, every skin cell, every aspect of ourselves we are here to fall deeply and madly in love with. And that's the journey we're on. We're on the journey of remembering. So if you're choosing things to make yourself feel better, to make yourself feel whole and complete, I promise you, you're going to keep getting the same pattern back until you realize that you're whole and complete, that there is nothing that anyone is offering you that is going to make you whole. The only thing that's going to make you whole is by working on remembering your soul and surrounding yourself with people that are reflections of your soul back. So I give thanks today. I give thanks in every moment for all the gifts that the universe gives to me, to grow me, to allow me to be in a constant state of resurrection, to allowing my ego to die and have new birth. And so, with that, I want to wrap this session up with a card that I had pulled on Thanksgiving called The Resurrection. The ego dies and the soul rises. Resurrect in this life. And I love this card, and this comes from the Mary Magdalene Oracle by Megan Watterson. And it's just such a powerful deck. And her works are amazing on Mary Magdalene of like, what was she here to truly teach us? And so this is a beautiful card, and I'll just read out of the book and then I'll leave you with a prompt for your inquiry. But it says, the Gospel of Philip is an ancient Christian scripture that was excluded in the formation of the Bible, along with the Gospels of Mary Magdalene and Thomas, as well as the Acts of Paul and Thessala, amongst others. It contains a very different understanding of what it means to resurrect than the more literal, traditional Christian interpretation of it. Resurrection in the Gospel of Philip, and according to the ancient Christians, is something that happens ideally throughout our lifetime. The Gospel of Philip explains you must awaken while in this body, for everything exists in it. Resurrect in this life. The Christians of the first century, or the Christ movement, practiced kenosis, self-in love, which released all attachment to the powers of the ego that has us caged in some form of fear or self-doubt. We let the ego die so the soul can rise. This way the soul can evolve right here in the human body. The myth of the phoenix always comes to mind with the word resurrection. It's the myth of a magical bird that endures an endless cycle of burning up in flames and then re-emerging, reborn from the ashes. Resurrection here is not about what comes in the next life. Resurrection is about what we can practice right now in this body, in this life. We can awaken to the potential of transformation, which with every tragedy or disappointment or loss in life, and see everything that happens as a chance for the soul to rise. We can see each death we go through as a chance to resurrect, more entirely present to the soul of love within us that survives every fire. Die to what the ego tells you that you have to do, or what you have to be, or who you should have loved, or who you should have left. Die to the ego telling you that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not right for this vision you have vision you had long ago for your life. Die to the ego telling you it's too late, you're too old or too young to live straight from the heart. Die to the voice of the ego and let the soul resurrect only ever louder. What egoic thought can I let go of in this moment? So take every moment to allow those egoic thoughts to die and ask the question, what is source? What is my soul telling me here? Allow your death and rebirth to be a constant cycle again and again and again. And to know that you are the phoenix rising from your ashes every moment you allow those thoughts to die and you allow your soul to rise. What a beautiful gift we have in this lifetime, in every lifetime, of why we incarnated, to die and to rise and to know who we truly are. So with that, I send you in the world today with love, light. I pray that this message finds everyone that needs to hear it. I continue to thank all my supporters, subscribers. I love all the comments, likes, shares, all the things as we expand this beautiful message into the world. And I continuously invite you to book on my calendar if you want a personalized one-on-one session. And if you'd like to join the community that I am building, that is highly interactive. It's about the soul. It's about the human connection. It's about the human awakening. It's stepping into a different level of consciousness and density coming in 2025. I just could not be more excited. So lots more details coming in the month of December, which is in 2 days. So please stay tuned for that. And continuously just remember that you are the light, you are divine. Continue to trust the process, honor your truth, and stay connected to Source. And until next week, I will see you all then.